Thank you for joining us today for our Sunday worship service for May the 29th, 2022. My name is Bernette Jones, Senior Minister here at the One God, One Thought Center for Better Living in Baltimore, Maryland. And we are so grateful that you have joined us once again. We're a member church of the Universal Foundation for Better Living, founded by the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, and our current president is the Reverend Dr. Sheila McKeithen. And we are here every week to support you in gaining a better understanding of who and what you are as a spiritual being and how to use that practically in your day-to-day life. This is the month of May when we celebrate the spiritual power of power. We all have the internal spiritual power to get things done and move things from the invisible realm of ideas into the manifest realm of the physical and day-to-day experiences. And so we celebrate this month. We look at the disciple Philip and the color purple. And we use those to honor and acknowledge that this power is within each and every one of us. Today, we are focusing on the holiday, Memorial Day. And the topic today of our lesson is create a memorial in consciousness. Create a memorial in consciousness. In the scriptures, from Luke, the 9th chapter and the 28th through the 33rd verses, is an account of Jesus' transfiguration. He's on a high mountain and he takes Peter, James, and John with him. And they experience and witness he's transfigured, which is something beyond transformation. Because transfiguration is a glorification where the physical appearance changes and he just lit up like a light. His aura was just bright and astounding. And also, they witnessed two other people with him, Moses and Elijah. And so they were stunned. Now, Peter says this in this verse. Peter said to him, to Jesus, Master, it is good for us to be here. Let us put up 3 structures. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. You know, when we reflect on how we got to where we are in our lives, it's amazing how much we have learned and how much we've benefited from so many people and so many experiences. And it's a normal and natural thing, like with Peter. We want to remember significant and important people and moments, whether they were very pleasant or whether in some cases they were traumatizing. We want to build a structure. And this is what memorials are about, building structures that honor and acknowledge significant and important events and people. We have statues, we have monuments, we have buildings that are named for people, we have trophies, we have named streets, we have all kinds of ways that we memorialize people and events. We create, as Peter suggested, a shrine to acknowledge that this was something significant. But this particular lesson and this particular title was inspired by a father who memorialized his daughter recently on national television when she was gunned down in Texas in an elementary school. And I say he memorialized her because I noticed in the interview on national television, he did not appear to be grieving. He did not appear to be distraught and traumatized. What he actually said moved my heart because he said what he would do is remember who his daughter is. Remember her beauty and her gentleness. Remember that she loved life and she loved people. Remember that she was brilliant and talented and was always learning. Remembering wonderful moments with her. Remembering and memorializing her by living a life that would be like what he imagined hers would be if she was still in the body. That's what he was going to do, to honor and memorialize his daughter. And that came to me as an important mental note about our ability to choose what and how we memorialize those who we love, those experiences that are significant in our lives. It was, I'm certain, a traumatic experience for all the parents whose children were gunned down. As traumatic as it was even for the young man who reacted in that way. But what we focus on in memorializing any person or event is important because it builds an image in our consciousness that will continue to play out and is going to play an important role in shaping our future experiences, shaping our future perspective about what and who we are and what life will be about for us going forward. I'll give you a good example. In the various Christian traditions, Jesus and his role in the Christian church and the Christian tradition is memorialized in various different ways. Some people focus on a man strung out on a cross, bloody, with nails and blood flowing. And that is what they imagine and memorialize in their churches and centers and places. In the New Thought tradition, what we look to and hold the image of and memorialize is the resurrection and ascension. We memorialize that it is possible to get up, to move forward, and that our physicality may be a boundary, but it's not a limitation. And so it provides a different perspective to live life, memorializing an image of a risen Christ, and knowing that that's the same journey that we are ourselves here taking to this Christ consciousness. You know, from a spiritual perspective, the issue becomes, how have the people and experiences of our life, how have they been transformative for us? And how have they transformed our consciousness in a way that helps us to remember who and what we are as spiritual beings? When we think about those we memorialize and how we memorialize them, is it a spiritual memorial that helps us to stay in divine alignment with truth? Or is it something that stays with us and we simply remember the trauma? We get to choose. That's where our power is. The ability to choose what we will hold in consciousness as we move forward in life. So metaphysically, I think about Peter's statement. Should we build a shelter, a dwelling place? Should we build a monument, a statue to you and to Moses and to Elijah? Well, metaphysically, of course, our Peter state of consciousness is about faith. And the way we look at faith in the New Thought tradition is that it is the perceiving power of our mind to perceive of something and then to link with our power to shape substance. And when those two things come together, when we have perceived and then shaped in our mind, we can bring things forth. We can bring things forth from the invisible realm to the manifest realm by our faith. So we're following Peter in that faith consciousness. But he also tells us that there are three things that we want to memorialize in our consciousness. He says, let's build something to honor Jesus. He's saying, let us honor the Christ. Let us honor our superconscious power. Let us honor truth. Let us honor our image likeness of God. Let that be our memorial. Number one. Number two, he says, Moses. He's telling us, let us honor the divine law. Let us study and learn and practice what the spiritual laws of the universe are, and then to honor and memorialize them. Let us honor and memorialize divine principles, that which never changes, that which is the underlying substance and power throughout the universe, no matter what the circumstance or situation is. Let us memorialize that in our consciousness. And the third thing he says we want to memorialize is Elijah, the prophet. Let us memorialize the divine guidance, the wisdom, the intuition that is giving us that prophetic voice about what it is we want to be aware of, what it is we want to look forward to, what it is that we want to remember that will shape our life in the direction that we are truly desiring to move in. You know, later when Jesus told his disciples at the Passover feast, he made the statement, "This do in remembrance of me. He never said, remember me dying on a cross. He never said, remember me doing anything, even the teachings and the miracles and the manifestations of miracles and turning water into wine. And he didn't say, remember those things. He didn't say, memorialize me. He didn't say, memorialize these stories that you are holding in your mind. He says, this do in remembrance of me. Eat the bread of life, knowing that my body, your body, the bread, is all made out of the substance of God. Commune with that. Be with that. Memorialize that. You don't have to have the physical things, but do it in consciousness. And this is what we know as we mature spiritually as New Thought Christians. When we have truly built something in our consciousness, we no longer have to have the outer material example. So we can have communion any day, all day long in our consciousness. He says, drink the wine, drink my blood, drink the very substance of being that is flowing. The life force. The blood is the life force. Drink of the life force of spirit. So he's telling us, do these things in remembrance. This is what I want you to remember. He was instructing his disciples on how to create a memorial in their consciousness to sustain their awareness of his impact on their lives and the hope and the expectation for the good that is yet to come. His spiritual metaphysical message was never about building a church, a temple, a structure, anything physical. His message had to do with establishing a memorial in consciousness, a mind memorial that would always be present even when all the physical things are gone. You know, I would say that gratitude, appreciation, and acknowledgement, they actually form the structure for building a sacred memorial in our consciousness. Gratitude, being able to notice what things you truly are grateful for that have contributed to the transformation of your life, that have contributed to who you are today. Memorialize that. Appreciation. Really appreciating means that we increase the value of those things that we appreciate. We increase the value of within our consciousness, within our experience. So the appreciation by increase and the acknowledgement, simply saying thank you, simply letting someone know that my encounter with you has transformed my life. Being able to acknowledge that and to form a structure to memorialize those things in consciousness will continue to lift us as we go. You know, once our memorial to higher states of consciousness are embedded within our thoughts, our feelings, our words, our actions, and our reaction. Once these memorials are embedded within our consciousness, it'll be our automatic response. It'll be an automatic response to first look to our superconscious state of mind. You know, that's the practice that we learn in our teaching. That is the solution. It's the first step in any situation that comes up, is to look from the conscious mind, to look to the superconscious mind. You know, we can look outside to what other people are saying and what other people are doing. That conscious mind pivots back and forth. But the practice of memorializing and being consistent in practicing, looking to the superconscious Christ mind of ourselves first, is how we memorialize truth, which is what we're about doing, right? We want to make truth the standard and make it available in institutions and in our households and in places, in community and wherever we are. We want truth to be memorialized, remembered, to have a structure of fulfillment always at hand. And this is how we do that. This is what puts us in divine alignment with the truth that allows us to be free. And so I am inviting you this Memorial Day, start making a list of what it is and who it is that you are memorializing in your life. You'll have a long list if you'll be honest with yourself, because there is so much. There are so many people and so many experiences that have contributed to your life and got you to where you are today, whether you consider yourself successful or whether you consider yourself something else. There's a long list of people. And in the moment that you memorialize the essence of what they have together brought to you in your life and experiences, in the moment when you're able to do that, you will have built a memorial that will last eternally. And you will have something to pass on, to hand off as a legacy that will serve the next generation that follows you. I thank you for your consciousness. I thank you that you are seeking truth and a way to use truth and apply truth, a way to see truth in the experiences of our time that sometimes are not very appealing, like the events of this past week in the elementary school in Texas. But it was amazing to me that that young father, he got it. There was nothing he could do about what had happened in that moment, but he could memorialize his daughter in a way that his life going forward would be uplifted and enriched, and that he could bear in his heart because of the love that he enjoyed with her. He could bear her memory in his heart by memorializing her in front of a national audience in a way that uplifted us all. To God be the glory. I thank you for the way that you hold this ministry and what we do as sacred. You have memorialized this institution in your consciousness and in your life by your gifts of service, your gifts of generosity and finances, your love, just by thinking good thoughts. Whenever you think of the One God, One Thought Center for Better Living, you're memorializing an institution that is emerging and transforming and transfiguring the lives of many, many people here in Baltimore and beyond. And so we thank you for that. And we bless and appreciate, which means we multiply back to you everything that you give, every thought, every state of consciousness, every dollar, every time that you come and engage and study and give and serve and teach and minister. You're doing all of that, and we thank you. We thank you, and we bless with divine love working through me. We know that it blesses and it multiplies. All that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thanks, God. It is done. It is so. And so it is. We hope you'll join us the next time that we are here for on-site service, which will be June the 1st. And during the month of June, we honor and acknowledge and memorialize our 28th anniversary as the One God, One Thought Center for Better Living here in Baltimore. You'll hear more about that. Check out our weekly e-blast. If you're not receiving it regularly, go to our website, www.ogot.org. Go to our website, scroll all the way down, sign up for the weekly news e-blast, and you'll find out all of the upcoming activities on a regular basis. I love us. I have memorialized us in my consciousness, and I'm inviting you to do the same. God richly bless you. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. And wherever the I am that I am is, God is. And wherever we are, God is. And so it is. God richly, richly bless you.